Hello friends, it's Hillary again from Good Wellesley Dogs, and today I have a training tip for you. When you are training your young puppy or dog, I often tell my clients that I work on one-on-one with that they need to keep it simple. They need to talk less because the dog doesn't speak English. Even though they're learning marker words, they do not converse in their head the way that we do. So we want to teach them marker words, and we want to eliminate as much as we can our habit of using other words, particularly when we are praising them for the things that they do when they get something right, because when we use extra words, what we're actually doing is confusing our dogs. What do I mean by this? I mean, for example, when you're teaching your dog to sit, your little puppy, you use a lure, you teach the puppy to sit, it sits, and what we should say is good to mark that they did what we wanted, and sit to tell them what the name of the thing is and reinforce it if we've already started using that word. So the procedure should be lure up, the puppy's butt hits the ground, good sit. But instead, what most of us do is lure up, and then we say, sit, Rover, sit. And he sits, good job, Rover, good sit, that's great, good job. So we have this party with our voice and our energy, and the puppy is having the party with us. But are they actually learning the marker for sit? No, they're just having a party with us. And it's all fun and games in the beginning, but the problem is you end up with a very confused puppy. In fact, if you have thought about using a clicker in clicker training, the reason why we click and reward is because of the simplicity of this communication. We're conditioning the dog to know that the sound click means they did something right, and here's the payment for it. So when we are not using a clicker, which I tend to not use because I lose them all over the place. Everybody doesn't have the clicker at hand when they need it, but you always have your mouth, and you can use your mouth like a clicker by simply marking yes and then rewarding. But if you say, yes, good job, good sit, Rover, you've lost all of the communication between you and that little puppy. And they, in their excitement, they got it right, the puppy has bounced out of position, and so now you have to ask them to sit again. And the reality is, when we're teaching something like sit or down, we're teaching it to them because we want them to stay in that position. So stop using all sorts of extra language and enthusiasm and excitement when you are training your young dog or puppy, because it distracts them and confuses them and pulls them away from the lesson that you're doing. Yes, be excited about your puppy, love your puppy, give your puppy affection, but not during the training lesson. During a training lesson, which you should do in very short little bits, several times a day, simply mark what they did with a yes, and then reward them. And keep the celebration for after you're done with the training session. And your puppy will learn a whole lot faster, and they will not be as apt to get adrenalized and out of control from your over-enthusiastic praise. So that is my training tip for today. Hope it's helpful. See you soon.